Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sorry to interrupt your Easter weekend. Happy Easter Sunday. A little bourbon to help me digest all the arguing I've been doing with all the bulls that have been in this market for so long, or bears, I should say. Anyway, you'd be a fool to think that real estate is all hunky-dory, but you're also a fool to bet against Toronto long term. Anyway, week 6, COVID times, strange times. Houses, only 15 of them sold last week versus 81 the first week of March in the urban communities. Condos, only 29 condos traded last week versus 196 in the first week of March. So sales activity is way down, way down. And remember, when you read those articles, that does not always mean that prices are down. So first, I will tell you that the average price of houses in urban Toronto are down 18.4% since the beginning of March to $1,171,933 for your average urban house. That's down. But let me tell you, that does not mean that houses are cheaper. When I looked a little bit deeper, I saw that there were 0 houses sold 1.5 million and above. Last week, there were very few houses sold 1.5 million and above. But when you look at the numbers in the 900 to say 1.2 range, those houses are still selling for what you'd expect them to sell for prior to all this stuff that's been going on. So really, the sensitivity in the market seems to be in that 1.3 plus range. There aren't a ton of buyers there. 1.3 there are, but when you get to 1.5 and above, there are 0 buyers there because those are just simply not selling. So removing those pieces of data from the average data set has decreased the average selling price on paper, but in reality, there are no deals unless you're looking in that 1.5 and above range where there are some more opportunities for you. With condos, they are down a total 16.6% in value. Those 29 condos that sold this past week are down 16.6 from the first week of March to $690,586. So again, when I look at the numbers, last week only 5 condos sold for over $1 million. This week 0. Prior to that, 30, 40, 50. So when you remove those more expensive pieces of data from the whole data set, it drops the average price. And that happened last week when we saw a big decrease from week 1 to week 5. But from week 5 to week 6, condos are flat because those expensive ones haven't been selling now for 2 months in a row, and we have a more regular data set to compare with. So when you look at those ones that are selling 500 to 700K, they're selling in multiple offers for over the asking price, sometimes even over what you think they would sell for. It's those condos north of 700, certainly north of 1 million, that are moving a lot slower and not moving at all once you get to $1 million plus, as we saw 0 sales last week. So when you hear decrease in sales activity, a big whopping number of 90%, that's true. When you hear a decrease in average price of, in this case, 18.4% for houses and 16.6% for condos, that is also true, but that does not mean that all condos and all houses are down by those percentages. It speaks to the market and the fact that there aren't expensive houses and condos selling, but in this particular case, the condos in the lower price points are still selling for prices that are more than you might expect them to, meaning the lower price points do not have any deals at the moment. There are some here and there, but generally not. The main opportunities right now lie in 2 places. One, in the assignment market. These are people that have bought pre-construction condos over the past couple of years that might have lost a ton of money and can no longer afford to keep them, so they're looking to sell them for very good prices. And 2, properties in the entry-level luxury and beyond market that are simply not moving. So if you're a buyer and you're sitting on some cash, we should talk. There are some things you can do with it. But if you're a seller and you have a property that's less than 1.5 million bucks, you're probably going to be relatively happy with where you end up, even though we can't do much staging, etc. these days. So hopefully this helps you understand that the sky is not falling. Doesn't mean that this isn't a very strange time that we need to keep an eye on. But right now, what we are seeing in those properties priced $1.5 million and less for houses and $1 million and less for condos is that there is still some activity. Even though the activity is drastically reduced, the prices remain fairly stable. So we will see what happens next week and beyond. But as always, if you have any questions, please comment below. I'll help put it into context for you on your street where you happen to live, because it could be different for you on one street versus another. That's how micro our market is. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. Cheers. Have an awesome day.